Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial here at Geekatplay Studios. My name is Gary Miller. Over in the Hexagon forum at Renderosity had a strange challenge that one of the forum members was having, and that is, how do you take a custom shape like this kidney bean here and create a solid surface onto it and have it in the same um, grid layout as like this grid that I have here in the background. Well, at first I thought you can click on Coon Surface and that will create a nice grid pattern, but at the edges it gets a little distorted, and depending upon the sharpness of your bends, you'll get a lot of distortion with the polygons overlapping. So that didn't work. Then I thought, well, what if you come over here to Vertex Modeling, Sweep Surface Tool, create a solid shape out of it, close it off, and then Boolean cut it into the grid. Well, that didn't work, so I tried taking the grid and Boolean cutting it into the shape, and that didn't work either. So I thought about it a little bit more, and I think I've come up with the solution. So I'm going to start off with a new scene here, and under 3D Primitives, I'm going to create a grid, and I'll just give it 20 cells on each in the U and the V. I'll validate that. And I'll make them symmetrical, so I'll make that 50 in the X and 50 in the Y. I'll zero it out here, center it in my scene. And now I'll come up here to lines and interpolated curve, and I'll just create just a custom shape here. And come over here to close curve, and I'll close it off. I'm going to bring it right up into my grid so I can see it easy. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to switch to a front view from perspective, and I'm going to lock my curve so I don't accidentally select it. Come up here to Vertex Modeling, and I'm going to click on Tessellate, and I have to click on my grid. Now I'll click on Tessellate. Now what I want to do is just outline my custom shape that I created and click on the edges of my grid where my custom shape overlaps it. And I'm just going to continue outlining this. Now where you start coming to a corner here, you may have to zoom in a little bit. It gets a little crowded for space. But it's pretty straightforward, very simple. Just click away, following the contour of your shape, and I'll be right back. Okay, I finished tessellating my grid. I'm going to hide my curve, and this is what I'm left with. I'm going to come back to perspective, and I think that will work. I'm going to come up here to select faces, and I'm just going to select these faces that I don't want and delete them. Now granted, this is a low resolution mesh that I created, so it does make for kind of a blocky looking kidney bean shape, but for the sake of simplicity, I only created this grid to be 20 squares by 20 squares. You may want to add more squares to your grid depending upon the shape that you've made. Alright, so I've deleted all of the extra faces that I don't want. Oh, here's one I missed. Delete that one. And depending upon the resolution of the mesh or grid you created, you may have to come and adjust a few points. But I think that looks pretty good. And let's come over here and select faces, Control A to select all of them, and extrude it in case you want to create a solid object out of it. And you can close off the back, create a solid face on the back, or if you don't want a solid face on the back and you want a face that has all these grids on it on the back, then don't close off the face. Select that one, loop it, hit F to turn this whole selection into faces. Hit your I button to inverse that selection. Come up here to edit, copy, paste. Now I'm going to move it back out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to use my snap align tool and snap it right there. And now I have one solid object. Let me weld these two pieces together, and now I've got a nice grid pattern on this custom shape. I don't know of a lot of immediate uses for it, but one thing I did think of that would be pretty cool is to select all the edges, come up here to lines, curve extraction, and with those lines selected, add a little bit of thickness to them under surface modeling, and you've got a nice wireframe cage looking sort of figure. So this is creating a grid pattern on a solid shape right here in Hexagon. So thanks for watching here at Geekatplay Studios. My name's Gary Miller. Have a good day.